Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. If you have followed already, awesome, I appreciate it. If not, go ahead and leave a follow and watch the first two videos. But this is going to be a quick video that I wanted to make to go over some of the things that I was not super specific about in the first couple of videos where I was introducing the product. I realized I didn't really introduce the company and I didn't do a great job of introducing myself. And so I'm going to go through and do those two things now. I'm going to talk more specifically about the product, and then I'm going to ask for your help here at the end. So there is a call to action. I really do need your guys' help on this, and I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into the information. Over here on the left, I've got the company information, and then over here on the right, I've got the product information. I'm just going to run through these really quick. If you've ever given a school presentation, you know exactly how this is going to go. So who am I? I'm a full-time accountant, and I am a Toyota enthusiast. I'm a Yamaha enthusiast. I've had 26 vehicles if you include motorcycles at this point, and I have no shortage of any ideas in my head for what I want to get next. So why should you care? You should care because I'm in the same boat as you, and I am designing products that will work for me, and therefore I know that they will work for you. And then what is the purpose of TDM, or the Drivers Market LLC? It's to identify problems and design solutions. The Drivers Market is a product design company. That's how we listed with the Small Business Association. We are not a production company, so full transparency, my goal is to pair with some company that can produce, whether they are specifically a CNC company or an automotive provided automotive company, and send them designs, partner with them so that they produce my designs. That is my ultimate goal. Speaking of my designs, let's talk about the ImportLock for a minute. It is patent pending at this point. I think I mentioned that before, but it's always nice to reiterate. The prerequisites for using this product are that the vehicle must be 4x4, all-wheel drive will not work, and two-wheel drive does not apply. Vehicle must be 4x4. The other thing that's a prerequisite is that the vehicle must have automatic front hubs. This is for automatic front hubs with split shaft front differentials. That is the most common form of automatic front hub. If you have manual hubs, you can already do this with your manual hubs. Excuse me, automatic hubs have an actuator that moves back and forth. It is either air or electric from the manufacturer, and what we've designed is a mechanical actuator to replace these. What's the purpose? The purpose is specifically to replace these air boxes or these electric switchers that actuate the split shaft front differential. There are some benefits that go with this. On the left side here, these are the benefits that are associated with the vacuum style box. On the right side here, these are the benefits associated with the electric style box. So you'll get to remove a bunch of unnecessary vacuum lines. If you have an 80s, 90s, probably at this point even 2000s Toyota, you know how many vacuum lines they like to use. You know how many VSVs there are. You get to remove all the VSVs. You get to remove all of the wires that go from the transfer case to the VSVs, from the VSVs to the computer, all of those. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You get to get rid of all of those. For the electric side, obviously you get to get rid of all of the unnecessary grounds, all of the unnecessary switches, all of the unnecessary wires. So we're really getting rid of a lot of the root problems, and we are instilling a solution that is much more minimalistic, and therefore there are way fewer failure points. There are some known beneficial byproducts already. Fewer points of failure in the 4x4 system, ability to shift into two-wheel drive low, which most Toyotas do not have the ability to do from factory. And then finally, the ability to shift into four-wheel drive while the vehicle is off. Now, this might not be a problem for a lot of people, but if you've noticed when you shift into four-wheel drive when your vehicle is on, you have to rock back and forth sometimes. You can only do that with your vehicle on and in the ability to roll back and forth. With this, you'll be able to lock your vehicle in the two or four-wheel drive position with the vehicle being off, because there's no need to send an electric signal. You don't need to have any power from your battery. You don't need to have any power from your alternator. So this is really a system that is very minimalistic, and yet you get to reap some serious benefits from it. Some other notes: the hardware is off the shelf and readily available. The shift rod is made of 303 stainless, which that material is readily available, and the housing itself, which is made out of 6061 aluminum, is readily available. So I've designed this with a bunch of manufacturability in mind and repairability, because I want you to be able to just walk into an Ace Hardware or a Home Depot and to be able to find these parts to be able to fix your actuator if something goes wrong. Now, I'm not saying that things are going to go wrong, but if you're riding in four-wheel drive and you're on a trail, anything under your vehicle is subject to extreme stress, especially with how you guys on Pirate 4x4 and the Marlin Crawler forums drive. So what we really need to do is we really need to design a product that, in the event of failure, will still result in you being able to get home. And that's what this is. This has a two-wheel drive safety feature. It has a four-wheel drive return. And really the ultimate goal of this is to make it so that even if it fails, it works. And we're really, really close to that point. And there are just a few more kinks to work out until we get there. But ultimately, these are the goals and the purposes of the ImportLock product. From there, I've made a list of the Toyotas that I already know this will work on. I have not made a list of Nissans, Mercedes, Land Cruisers, whether they're Toyota or Lexus. I've made this list. This is specifically for the Hilux pickup. I can show you right here. Specifically for the 4Runner, the Hilux pickup, the Sequoia, the T100, and the Tacoma and the Tundra. These are from 1986, which is when IFS was first introduced with Toyota four-wheel drive, all the way up until 2007 with the last model year of the first generation Sequoia. And I've got this obviously broken down into these categories. And from these 103 vehicles that are on this list, I will only be needing 3 ImportLock designs in order to satisfy these 103 different variables between the engine, the model year, the make. The generation obviously will depend on the model year, but essentially I've already got 3 designs in mind. And that is a really good example of what I need your help with. And that's my call to action. In the comment section, I really need to know what vehicles should I add to this list. I've had some people reach out about Land Cruisers, specifically the FZJ80. I don't know enough about them to know if this is something that the Land Cruiser will actually benefit from. So any of you guys that have the 80 series, please let me know. Any of you guys that are running newer Tacomas, like the 2nd gens, any of you guys that are running the 4th gen 4Runners, you really need to let me know in the comments if this is something that you want, because I'm going off of the need right now, and the need has been prescribed to me from 1986 being the Hilux all the way up until the 1st generation Tacoma and the end of the 1st generation Tundra. So I really need to know what you guys are looking for, and I will go through the comments. I will look at all of them. So please, you got to let me know what you drive and if you'd want this. The other thing is the housing is one piece and the cable is the other. So for any of you guys that run a hand throttle, especially you guys that are wheeling or you guys that don't have cruise control and you run a hand throttle for cruise control, I'm going to use the same tech that's in that in order to make this work. But that leaves a lot of questions, and I really need to know what you guys are looking for. So for those who don't know, I've got this open. These are hand throttles. This is the traditional old school posi lock style. This is the cruise control style, or the traditional throttle crawling style. There are lots of different hand throttles out there, and I don't know if it would be better for me to get a hand throttle and bundle it with the kit, or if it would be better for me to sell the housing individually and for you to select your own hand throttle, because this is going to depend on a lot of variables. It's going to depend on manual or automatic. It's going to depend on what year you have, because some throttles will fit better with your interiors. It's going to depend on what model you have, because some throttles are going to fit better with some interiors. So I really need to know, is this something where you would like me to bundle a throttle cable in there that you can use to actuate your ImportLock product? Or is this something where you would like me to sell the ImportLock housing, shift rod, all of the meat of it, and then you get your own throttle cable? I'm at a toss-up right now. I really need to know what you guys think, because again, it's all going to depend on your interior. It's going to depend on how how pristine you want your interior to look. If you're willing to drill holes in your firewall, if you're not willing to drill holes in your firewall. So I'm going to go. I've got a couple of things in mind for how I want to mount it in my 2nd gen. In my 2nd gen 4Runner, and because my 2nd gen 4Runner is a manual, I'm going to mount it on the actual shift handle itself. That may not work for you guys that have automatics because the handles are shaped differently and you might want a different actuator. So we really need to iron this out, and your help in the comments would be tremendous so that I can get a better understanding of, one, what vehicles you want added to the list, and two, would you buy the housing by itself or would you buy the housing bundled with a throttle cable? You really need to let me know. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is the current design. So this is the most recent design. This is SB2 V5. SB2 V4 is the one that I made right after I recorded this video. And in this video, you would have heard me say, or maybe it was at the end of this video, but you would have heard me say that I had a problem with the spring, the two-wheel drive safety return spring binding. And what I did in SB2 V4 was I opened up the throat for where the spring goes, in hopes that that would make the spring able to flex a little bit more. Unfortunately, when I sent this to the person who was helping me do the tool pathing, they told me that making an oval like this with the depth that it needs to be able to run through the throat of this actuator, they said that that would be quite a bit more machine time. So I ended up going with the circular design again. And what I did is I actually made the circle. You can see the, if I zoom in here, you can actually see the interior of the, what I call the slide zone. You can see that that is present in there because this circle is much, much wider than it previously was. It's almost as wide as that oval shape on its own. So if you see this right here, this section is actually the open section where the circle has been drilled basically through the entirety of the housing. But because it's not an oval, the machine time is not nearly as much. That will save two things. It will save in labor cost, and it will save in machine time. So I'm really working hard to iron out the best possible machine time for this product, the best possible labor allocation. I'm trying to make this so that any shop could make it or fix it. So I realize that this is kind of a slow burn and that you haven't seen a whole lot of progress yet, but that's because I'm doing a lot of things on the back end to try to make sure that this product is as easy to machine as possible. Because the easier that it is to machine, the easier that it is for any shop to pick it up. For any shop to be able to pick it up, that's going to reduce my downtime in production. That's going to reduce the actual machine time itself. So that means when you order a product, I can have it machined, shipped, built, shipped again faster. What I don't want to have happen is I don't want to design something that's too complicated, and one, it's hard to fix, and two, it's hard to machine in the first place. So we're really working through the kind of the finer details at this point to get this thing as absolutely robust and as compact as it can be. I also reduced the wall thickness about 3 millimeters on each side from the previous aluminum that you had seen, and that really lightens this thing up, and it's no longer feeling quite as much of a burden as it was before, just to be able to move around. So I'm really happy with the way that the design has turned out so far, and all that I ask is your patience and your cooperation in helping me finish the design and helping me get the design into your hands. So there's a couple of things that I'm working on that I can't share with you right now, and that's of course the cost accounting associated with this. To put it frankly, the more of you that want these, the less expensive it will be overall, because I can buy raw materials cheaper. When you buy in bulk, you can buy the material cheaper per foot, per pound, per etc. The shipping will go down the more of you want them, and that brings the overall cost down. So I think the three call to actions here would be, what vehicle should I add to the list? Would you prefer the cable to be bundled, or would you prefer to select your own cable? And realistically, would you be interested in this by the end of 2024? So I think that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching this almost 15-minute video at this point. I really appreciate it. I want you to know I'm working hard in the background to get this done, and I'm going through all of the legal stuff that I have to do in order to bring these designs and these products forward. So obviously we're going to keep going with projects on the secondary channel. The 4Runner is almost done as far as being able to run and drive, and I'm really excited to see where that project goes, and the final icing on that cake is going to be putting the ImportLock on that 4Runner. So know that I'm in the same boat as you. We're all dealing with vacuum problems, and we're all dealing with electric problems, trying to keep these 90s, 80s, even, like I said, even 2000s Toyotas on the road. For you Nissan D21 guys, I know some of the V6s had auto hubs. For you Pathfinder, you Xterra guys, you know, this could really help a lot of us keep our rigs on the road. So it's a safety product. It's a product that has multiple uses, and at the end of the day, it's a product that reduces your failure points. So this product was not designed to fail, but in the event of a failure, you still get to drive home, and I think that's probably the most important part that you should take from this. So anyways, thanks again. I'm going to go to bed, and I appreciate your time. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.